Hey there, and welcome to the Tamaracade, and today I've got a cold. But that's not all I've got, because I've got 3 boxes of stuff that I ordered from Japan. So let's take a look and see what's in these mystery boxes then. Well, I suppose it's not really mystery for me because I ordered it, so I know what's in there. That's assuming that they actually packaged what I ordered and didn't just send some random stuff. So these could be 3 boxes full of dead mice for all I know. I really hope not, because that would be grim, and I have absolutely no need for 3 boxes full of dead mice. So let's grab a pair of scissors and see what's in box number 1, shall we? So in number 1 we have some bubble wrap and bits of Japanese newspaper. I'm sure that's riveting. Oh, it looks like it's just the one thing in this box. Sega Saturn Virtua Stick. I've already got one of the arcade sticks for the Saturn, so now I've got 2, so that's good for playing multiplayer. Just really like how these look, and it feels absolutely solid. And listen to this. Really my joystick buttons feel great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. And in box number 2. So first up, it's Puyo Puyo for the Sega Mega Drive. No manual, unfortunately, but there's a cartridge in there. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. I've already got the Game Gear version of this, so it's nice to have the Mega Drive version to add to my collection. I really like how the Mega Drive boxes look for the Japanese versions. And this here is Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64. Now this isn't the same Pokemon Stadium that we got over here in the West, as the one we got was actually the equivalent to the Japanese Pokemon Stadium 2, and then our Pokemon Stadium 2 was Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver in Japan. So this one is the one that came first, and it doesn't actually include all of the Gen 1 Pokemon, so that's probably why they didn't bother releasing it here, because the second one was already out when Pokemon came big over here, so you know, might as well just release that one instead, as it has all of the Pokemon from the first 2 games. And this is actually my very first ever Japanese Nintendo 64 game, so got a cartridge here in a little bag. Instruction manual. So I love the Japanese instruction manuals, even though I can't actually read them because I can't read Japanese, but they're just so colourful, and I love all the diagrams and everything that they put in them. You know, a lot of times in Europe, the instruction manuals we generally got with a lot of things are tiny little black and white only things with just a few text, but then it was quite bare bones, but then it was repeated in about 17 different languages. Now this is cool. I don't know what it is, or other than just a list of Pokemon. I don't know if they're just all the Pokemon that are in the game. There's probably more than that considering it. Oh yeah, there we go. So there's some of the starters and the legendaries. So that all looks pretty cool. Oh, look at the little trays that come in, and you can see it says Nintendo 64 on it. That's so cool. Spoiler alert, this isn't the only Pokemon related item that I've ordered, so if you like Pokemon, stick around and you might see some other interesting things. Like this, for example. It's Pokemon Gold and Silver. The Nintendo 64, released in the West as Pokemon Stadium 2, even though it's the 3rd Pokemon Stadium game. But I've just been through that, so I don't need to go all through that again. Lovely cartridge here. And a big old chunky manual. Again, it's got all that lovely colourful stuff in there. Oh look, there's a legendary beasts bit in there, lovely low polygon glory. So that's a nice thing to add to the collection. Also a lot cheaper than buying the European version. I paid a penny for this plus postage, I believe, something like that. Yeah, pretty much everything in here was dirt cheap. I got the whole lot for about £15 plus I think like 60 postage. I know the postage was just loads more than everything else, but yeah. And now this is actually the most expensive thing from the ones that I bought, that cost about £8, which is like half of everything else. And that is the Ghost in the Shell PS1 game. Look how cool that artwork is. This is actually a gift to somebody, so I'm not actually going to be keeping this one for myself, but I think it's really cool to show, and it's in quite a chunky case, which usually Japanese PS1 games were just in like a really like a thin regular CD case. It's got a big chunky manual on it, and that's the artwork that you'd see on the European release. It all looks really cool. So I suppose it's probably in the chunky case just to be able to hold that chunky manual. And a little advert for soundtrack CDs as well. So here is a more normal sized PS1 Japanese game, and this is Crash Team Racing. I used to play this game a lot as a kid, not the Japanese version, but the European version. It can be like fairly pricey nowadays, but like it's not really any different from the Japanese version. You can pick up the Japanese version for like a few pence, so that's why I've done that here. Lovely disc and manual, if I can get that out. I love how the Crash looks in Japan, how he's all like, you know, all like super cutified, and he's got those like Pac-Man shaped eyeballs, and I like the pupils at least. Again, another really great colourful manual. And now another chunky case game. It's Chocobo Dungeon 2 for the PS1. I've got the Chocobo collection for the PlayStation 1, and that comes in a really nice case. I'll have to show you that sometime. So I really like the look of this. Although the Chocobo front looks really sad, he's like crying. For a happy little Chocobo. But got a nice disc here. And oh, there's two discs actually. I didn't realise that. So a nice green one as well. I mean, it's Squaresoft, so it's no surprise that they make a PS1 game with multiple discs. A big, lovely, full colour manual. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely love the Sega Saturn, so of course I'm going to get one of these Sega Saturn games. And first up here is Puyo Puyo Sun. I got the Puyo Puyo game for the Mega Drive that I showed earlier, and now here's another one for the Saturn. Really cool disc art and everything. Quite a big chunky manual there. Let's have a quick look at that then. Spine card included. That's really nice. It's always nice to get an original spine card with anything. It's also come with these like registration cards and everything, which I also really like seeing. All this original stuff. And this, the Underground edition, don't really know what that is, but oh wow, it's come with some stickers. And they're all complete. And big full colour manual. And lots of nice colourful bits in there. And it's got like this bat lady and yeah, and this. So a lot of nice artwork, and it's all full colour. Like look at this frog guy. How can you not love that? So really happy with that, and I wasn't actually expecting to get all the extra bits with it. I didn't know that it came with all that. That wasn't like mentioned in the listing. So it's always nice when you do buy something and it comes with more stuff than what you think you're gonna get. Another bit of Crash Bandicoot goodness here is this one. It's another Crash game that I need. It's Crash Bash, or as it was known in this version as Crash Carnival. So it's basically, you know, Crash Bandicoot mini-games compilation sort of thing. Oh. Okay, the disc is a bit buggered, but that's quite a common thing with a lot of these CD. I mean, as long as it works, again, I paid like pennies for this, so if it's all broken, but look, you get all the artwork and stuff in the manual. And time for the final box. Yeah, here's another Saturn game. It's Toog King, The Spirits 2. I'm not sure what that means or if I'm even pronouncing it right, and probably not, but here's how it looks here. So yeah, so it's a racing game for the Sega Saturn, and it's made by Atlas, company more famous for their RPGs, so things like the Shin Megami Tensei series. So I'm quite looking forward to having a go at this and seeing what this is like. I quite enjoy racing games. I'm rubbish at them, absolutely hopeless at racing games, but I do enjoy them. And it's also got like little flyers and like a registration card. Oh, and a big sticker. That's a nice sticker, that is. So, and also manual. Let's see, spine card in there and disc. I have like manual, so I can use it with the arcade racer, which is good because that's the best way to play racing games on the Saturn. You know, you don't really want to play 3D races with the D-pad. The Game Boy is one of my favourite consoles, so when I order stuff from Japan, I always try to make sure I get 1 or 2 Game Boy games in there, and I've got this here, Super Mario Picross. It's the cartridge itself in the little plastic clamshell box. And they also, Japanese Game Boy games come in a little plastic tray like this. And here's the manual. Even the Game Boy games have much nicer manuals. I mean, over here we did get some pretty nice Game Boy manuals, like especially with Pokemon and Zelda. And talking of Pokemon, here's Pokemon Trading Card Game for the Game Boy Color. I've got the European version of this, and I just saw this and it was really cheap and just thought, yeah, I'll pick that up. I used to love playing this game as a kid. Basically, it's the Pokemon Trading Card game, which I was absolutely crazy for. Used to spend so much money on the cards. Like, as a kid, basically, whenever I got any money, whether it be like pocket money or Christmas or birthday money, I'd basically, in my head, just automatically change it into how many packs of Pokemon cards I could buy. So, like, if I had £10, I'd be like, that's 4 packs, because the packs were usually £2.50. I know that that's not how much they cost now. It's like £3.90 or something like that for a pack, but back then it was always £2.50. Here's a lovely cartridge, Game Boy Color cartridge. It's one of the black Game Boy Color cartridges that was actually still compatible with the Game Boy. Which is quite interesting because it means that the Game Boy is like probably the only, that's the only forward compatible console that I can think of. You know, everyone's always gone on about backwards compatibility, but the Game Boy could actually play some games for the next generation console, which was pretty impressive for the time when you think about it. A big manual. It's got like little comic bit in there. And it also comes with like, yeah, advertising things. Pocket camera and printer. Because this game was compatible with the printer. There's a lot of Game Boy Color games where around that era. They're really pushing the printers. Quite a big thing. I did have a printer, but the thing is, by the time I got mine when I was a kid, it was like kind of really towards the end of the Game Boy Color and Game Boy's lifespan, and I got a Game Boy Advance shortly afterwards, and that didn't support it. But I did have some fun with it and playing and printed off stuff and Game Boy Camera and things from Pokemon Gold version. Anyway, wow, I've already had quite a few Pokemon things, but now here is a Pokemon Silver version for the Game Boy Color. And quite glad to have this, because now that means that I've got like one of all the Generation 2 games. Because I've got Gold and Crystal. I've got North American Gold, a European Crystal, so now I've got a Japanese Silver, so surely that's got to be some kind of set, really. And here it is. The cartridge there. It's got something here. I think it's little tips about how to clean a cartridge. Like at the bottom, use a Q-tip instead. So don't blow into your cartridges. And that might have been what you were doing for years, but don't. All advert for these Pokemon Neo trading cards. That is proper nostalgic. I loved seeing those images of gold and silver Pokemon when I was a kid, and just going crazy for them and wanting all the cards and everything, because I was obsessed with Pokemon. So then when I found out that we were getting 100 more of them, I just went crazy for it, and literally anything that had like a Chikorita on, I was like or a Cyndaquil or anything from that generation. I think it's because of that reason is like why now I've got like the second generation probably hits me with the most sort of like nostalgia, and like because I pretty much sort of like, because with like the first generation I just didn't really know about it, and then it just like came out of nowhere, and then it's like, oh, Pokemon's here. Whereas then for the second generation I'd already had like a year of being crazy into Pokemon, and so all the hype of the second generation coming out and then getting it and just being amazed. So yeah, I've probably got the best sort of like memories because of all the hype and everything for the second generation, and just being like, wow, now I'm getting 251 Pokemon, and I get to play it in colour, like proper colour. I know that like you could put in Pokemon Red in colour on the Game Boy Color, and it wouldn't, well, it would just come out in like, a basic palette swap. It's still just like 4 basic colours. It wasn't really anything too exciting. And I know this, you won't be able to see this, but the title on that is embossed, so I'm really happy with that. Very happy to have that in my collection. And now Pokemon Red for the Game Boy. I've already got Pokemon Green, so now I've got this, and now I've got the original 2 that came out, because this Pokemon Red is actually different than the European and American Pokemon Red that we remember, because they were actually based on the Japanese Blue version, just like an update to the original Red and Green. So this is the very first one where all the Pokemon had really weird sprites, and they all looked they all basically looked morbidly obese or something like that, and were just like all really fat and squidgy and look really quite strange. So look up the sprites for Pokemon Japanese Red and Green. Yeah, they don't tend to look much like how we think of Pokemon now, but that's how they were at the time. So basically then they decided to redo a lot of the artwork for when they were bringing it out to the West and internationally, and making the Japanese Pokemon Blue and stuff. Although there are some Pokemon that do actually look worse in those revisions, like Blastoise, for example. Like the one that we actually got over here, Blastoise looked absolutely awful, if I remember. But anyway, I digress. So here's the cartridge. You might notice that the cartridge itself is grey, and that's because the Japanese one, they were just released on standard grey cartridges. They weren't put onto the red cartridges like they were over here. But I suppose at the time when Pokemon first came out over there, it was just a game, wasn't? When this came out, it wasn't like there wasn't all the hype for it, whereas I suppose when it came out to the West, it had already been huge in Japan, so they thought, oh, this is probably going to be a big thing. We're releasing it on aging hardware, let's make nice coloured cartridges or something. I don't know. Manual? Oops, dropping it. And it's got a lot of that. I love that sort of like really old Pokemon artwork where it was all like watercolours. The sort of like original. I think it was Ken Sugimori that did that artwork. I could be wrong. Here, like a little description of the starters. I always chose Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur was my guy. Bulbasaur never lets you down. Also, because like in the first 2 gyms, you've got like first 3 you've got type advantage. So yeah, and then like first gen, I don't know how everyone else did it, but basically what I did was just go straight through with what one you start a Pokemon and then just kick everything else's ass, and you ended up getting so high in level that it didn't matter that like type disadvantage. Like I ended up just using my Venusaur against like the fire gym with Blaine and just beating everything like one hit, because by that point my Pokemon was like so much higher level than everything else. I think they've fixed that now in like the more modern games. It's kind of more, I think it's better for like getting a team than the older games. I think I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. So there's more things here like these ones, and so just some of the basic ones you get at the start of the game. And there's Pikachu. Sort of not quite yet know what his future was going to be as the mascot of the game, and looking rather different than he does now. And I can also see Clefairy and Kakuna and Nidoran female. It also came with a lovely Game Boy Pocket advertisement. So now for some Super Famicom games, and just in case you don't know, the Super Famicom was what the SNES or SNES or Super Nintendo or whatever you want to call it was called in Japan. Starting off here, I've got, I think it was called Battle Dodgeball 2. I thought that looked quite interesting, a dodgeball game, and I can see here it's also got characters from like Ultraman and Kamen Rider and Gundam on it. Yeah, this should be quite interesting. Don't actually have a dodgeball game, so this could be quite fun. Super Famicom cartridges look similar to that of the European SNES cartridges. So they kept the same design, so they don't have this sort of big boxy design of the American SNES cartridges. No manual there, but you know, like no matter I paid for it, I'm not really that bothered, and you know I couldn't read it anyway. And now, if my brother Jack is watching, here's something that you're really gonna like to see. It's Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan for the Super Famicom or SNES. Wow, this is obviously the Japanese version, and the reason why I say that is because my brother used to go absolutely crazy for this game. We had a emulator on the Dreamcast called Dream SNES. I don't know if anyone remembers that, where you could play SNES games on a Dreamcast. Just ROMs from a disc, obviously it couldn't take the physical cartridges, and this was one of the games on there, and he just played that over and over and over again. He even wrote a guide on it. He was just like the complete expert of that game. He knew where everything was, he could do all the secrets, he'd completed it so many times. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions about that game, just ask him, he'll know everything. And here's the cartridge itself. This has been a game I've quite wanted to add to my collection because of family memories associated with it. Oh, and there's loads of great things written on the box here, like the strongest man in the space, Son Goku, fights the series of the terrible battles for our space. See that there? Well, anyway, so that's that game. And there is one more Super Famicom game. It's a game that you're probably more familiar with than those ones, and it is the almighty Final Fantasy VI. Look at that artwork. Look at how nice that game looks. Just, incredible. And this game was also released as Final Fantasy III in North America because they were like not releasing all of the Final Fantasy games, but and then having their own numeral system, which until Final Fantasy VII. Anyway, and we didn't get it over here in Europe because, yeah, the first Final Fantasy game we got here, well, first main series one was Final Fantasy VII. We didn't get any of the NES or SNES ones, apart from Mystic Quest Final Fantasy for the SNES, which was sort of like the beginners one. It was like made as like a beginners RPG, so that was the first like entry in the Final Fantasy series that we got over here. So yeah. So I suppose as in the UK, this would be like Final Fantasy 0 if Final Fantasy 7 would be 1. Then anyway, there we go. Nice, lovely manual. There's big, lovely artwork. It's got more big, lovely artwork on the inside. I've got Final Fantasy V on Super Famicom as well, so I'm quite glad to have this to my collection. And 5 was actually a present to me from my brother Joe for Christmas a couple of years ago. So it's the cartridge. So now I just need 4, and then I've got the 3 for the Super Famicom. I absolutely love handheld consoles, and I want to get as everyone there ever was basically, but I suppose every gaming collection really does. But there's one gap in that, and that is for the Nintendo DSi. However, and I've filled that gap with this lovely boxed Japanese one here. It's, I've been wanting one of these for a while, because it's like the sort of missing link between the DS and the 3DS, pretty much. So I've always found it quite interesting. It's like safety stuff here, so like don't shove it in a baby's face, or don't use psychic powers on the SD card. Okay. Oh, don't microwave. Definitely do not microwave your DSi. That would be bad. Yeah, basically just basically keep it away from psychics and babies. Here's more than normal manual, so it's like got a lot of the like camera functions, because that was like one of the big things for the DSi, is that it had a camera on it, which the original DS didn't. And it could also have like DSiWare games and things that were like special downloadable games just with the DSi. Another like instruction manual thing. This a little thing, I assume it's about volume safety. And the main event itself, the DSi. It's a really nice looking thing. Looks like it's in really good condition. It's a little dusty, but DS screen seems to like attract dust like nothing else. It doesn't come with a charger, but you know, I wouldn't be able to use that anyway, so, but I'd just be able to use a 3DS charger. And because it's all external power supplies, I don't need to worry about any of that stuff. Does it have any charge at the moment? Turn it on. No. So it's got no juice at the moment, but we could put some in there and fire it up. And a stylus. Although I don't think this is the original stylus, because it seems a bit of a different shade, and you know, that happens. But yeah, it's nice. So I've finally got a DSi in my collection. Needs a bit of a clean, but other than that, yeah, it's really good. So yeah, that was my unboxing of stuff that I got from Japan. So let me know what you think. If you want to see any more of these again, or if it was completely boring and yeah, you ain't interested in this stuff. If you have any stories to tell about any of the things that I've got today, then drop me an email below. Or if you've picked up anything great and you just want to tell everyone about it, then yeah, drop a comment below, and yeah, it'd be great. So yeah, hope to get more videos out soon. I've got a couple of like reviews and things that I'm working on, so that'll be good. So this is just, you know, a bit of filler really. Unless you really love it, then this could become more regular content. So let me know what you think, and until next time, bye!